This is a video on how to graph point-slope form. So we've already done slope-intercept form, so now it's point-slope form. So to begin, let's start with the formula. It's going to be y equals m times x minus x1 plus y1. Now in this case, m is still the slope, so we can use this information still that that it's rise over run, whatever's in front of the parentheses is the slope. And then the x1 and y1 is any point on the line. All right, so let's do two examples here. So let's start with number 3. So we have the slope right there of -2. So I'll put -2 there, and I'll write as a fraction -2/1. So that means when I use the slope, I will go down to right 1. Then we look here. This is going to help us find our first point, first x, and this is going to help us find our first y. So if we look up here at the formula, notice that it's a minus in the formula, which means I want the opposite of whatever the x is. So this would be the same thing as x minus -1, right? So it's -1 is my initial x. And then if I go back up here, and then it's plus the y1. So whatever the back is, that's your y coordinate. So +5 is my y coordinate. That stays the same. So notice this -1 became, or sorry, this +1 became -1, and the +5 stays +5. So let's plot that point. So I'm going to go to the origin. I'm going to go left 1, up 5, and plot that point. Now from here, from this dot, I'm going to use this. I'm going to go down to right 1 from there. So down to right 1, down to right 1, like that. And now I have a line. And the y-intercept, I don't see it in the equation. That's something to be careful. It's not 5. That's a common mistake of students. Instead, we should look on the graph, and we can see that it's at 3. We could also, if we couldn't see the graph, we could plug in 0 and see what happens. If you plug in 0 here, you get 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times -2 is -2. And then when you add 5, you get 3, which is what we see in the graph. So the y-intercept, 0, 3. And then remember with the x-intercept, we always know that the y is 0. And the y is 0 right about here. So what's the x? It's halfway between 1 and 2, so it's at 1.5. And again, we could check that by putting 0 in for y and then try to solve for x. All right, let's look at number 4. In this one, they give us the slope and the point. So we're going to apply the equation up here. So let's put the slope in the front. So y equals 1/2, then parentheses. And then we put an x, and then right behind it, we do the opposite of the x coordinate they give us. So they give us an x coordinate of 1, so the opposite of that would be -1. And then we put the y coordinate in the way back. That's what it says here, put the y coordinate in the way back. So since it's -2, I'm going to put -2 there. So now we have an equation. And now let's graph it. Let's start at this point, the start point. So let's go right 1, down 2, and put a dot there. From here, I'm going to go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, following this slope over here of up 1, right 2. We could also do the reverse. We can go down 1, left 2 to continue the line. And then lastly, we can see that the y-intercept is on the y-axis between -2 and -3, so that looks to be -2.5. So the x is 0 and the y would be -2.5. And the x-intercept, again, the y is 0, we know that. So over here, the y is 0 at this spot, and the x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.